Hi guys, it's Poober here for episode 22 of my Factorio series. As you can tell from this big pile of dead biter bodies that we have here, they have become an increasing problem over the last couple of episodes, so my goal today is finally go from defense to offense by coming up with a military solution. So taking a look at the world map, you can definitely tell my problem areas are in the bright red colors on the bottom and tops of my map. The bottom section is where we have my iron farming area, and the top is for copper farming. And you can see that it looks like there's a horde of biters coming in right now attacking my copper area. So I do have quite a bit of laser turrets surrounding all of the farming sections, but as you can tell, it is not quite enough to keep up with the biter attacks that keep coming in. And I don't have the laser turrets getting repaired automatically, which would be something nice to have in the future. So I think that means we definitely have to start focusing on getting some sort of militarization going on. We really haven't had a whole lot of that accessible throughout this entire point. Very early game, I had a piercing ammo setup in this section over here, and this is all I've really had in terms of my ammo production. And then my cannon shells that I've been using, I've actually been crafting by hand. So today's the day where we finally get a much better setup, and I'm planning on putting it right here just below my make everything type of factory. And so I'm going to go in my test world and get some things set up to fit in this section over here. After spending some time tinkering around in my test world, I did come up with an ammo design that I'm pretty happy with. So here it is. What I originally ended up doing was taking a blueprint of my walkway and these belts, and then I pushed it over to the test world, and that way I could guarantee that I didn't have any overlap of the assemblers, and that way it fit precisely in the space that I had available. So starting from left to right, we have on the left hand side some of the shotgun ammo, which I don't really use, which is why I only have 4 assemblers each to the regular shotgun and then the piercing shotgun ammo. And then just below that, in this red circle that's crossed out, is where we're going to have my rocket silo getting produced. And I don't have that researched yet, which is why it's still kind of red and crossed out. But then to the right of that is where we have some of my capsules. We have the destroyer capsules, defenders, and then distractor capsules in this section over here. This should be fairly ratio perfect for these capsules. And then to the right of that, we have my ammo that I'm going to be using most often, where we have the regular ammo getting fed into the piercing ammo. And then to the right of that, we have the uranium ammo, which I'm going to be using plenty of. And then to the right of that, we are going to be having my cannon shells. Now this section here allows for regular and explosive cannon shells, and then the uranium equivalents of those as well. And then to the right of that, we're going to have artillery shells and more of the explosive ammo, which will feed into the artillery shells themselves. And then to the right of that, we have products I am going to be using less of again, and that's why I kind of tapered it off in this way here so that we have fewer assemblers as we go into the smaller corner sections. So that's why we have regular rockets, explosive rockets, my landmines, grenades, which I hardly ever use, and then these poison capsules and slowdown capsule finally in this assembler over here. And then to the very right is where we're going to have my nuclear weapons over here. And these again are not researched, which is why they have the red circle over it, but they will get researched eventually, and I'm going to be using that a lot to get rid of the large biter nests. And then to the very bottom of the ammo, we have things that go into building the actual armor suit and the components that go into the armor themselves. So like over here, we have the night vision goggles, the actual MK2 armor, the fusion reactors, the shields, the robo bays, and then over here to the right, we even have the exoskeleton as well. So these ones here are going to be bot supplied for products, since I don't really need too many of these. I didn't want to devote a crazy amount of belts and spaghetti everywhere to supply this. So this is just going to be backup. For instance, if I had someone else that wanted to come onto the server with me, they could immediately suit up, get some armor, get some ammo, and then we'd be good to go. So I think that means now that we've gone over what to expect with this, let's go ahead and place it down now. It should overlap nicely, just have to make sure we've got it overlapping on the correct parts. And it should be pretty hard to miss because it should be blue. And there's a couple things that looks like we're going to have to edit out. But clicking it there will let our bots fill in what we can. Let me edit some of these. I'm just going to destroy some of these belts here, and then we're going to overlay the blueprint again, and then it should be perfect. So I'll be right back once this is all filled in. And here is the armory now fully installed. It's already been working for the most part. I've got a decent supply of a lot of the products already, like our piercing ammo and our shotgun shells, even our defender capsules and our destroyer capsules over here, just in case I wanted to use them. And we even have some artillery shells over here, so we could start getting that going with an artillery train, and even some rockets. And then of course these last three will be for the nuclear weapons once we get those. But there is one thing we don't have available, and that is the uranium required products, like the uranium ammo and then the uranium cannon shells. So I think the next step we're going to work on is getting uranium ore tapped into, and that way we can slowly work our way towards getting uranium ammo, uranium cannon shells, and then eventually the nukes. We are about to head down to the newly tapped into uranium farming station. But before we do that, I did want to show off my new train station for our uranium ore drop-off, where the ore is going to come in to this belt line here and probably go in a circle or some sort of fashion for the Covarex enrichment process. And then of course I did have to add in a sulfuric acid train. I placed it conveniently in between our fluid handling areas, between our water and our oil drop-off. That way we have all our fluid pretty much together. But this is where it picks up the sulfuric acid, but as you can tell it's full right now. And then it goes to our uranium farming section and drops off the sulfuric acid and then supplies the miners that way. So let's go ahead and hop in. We're going to go to the new uranium ore patch. And then we're going to go ahead and turn it on. We just arrived, and I'm going to go ahead and switch this to manual so it doesn't accidentally leave without me. But as you can see, this is where we have the sulfuric that will get dropped off. I may add a tank or some sort of buffer fluid storage in the future, but let's change this to manual as well. I didn't do that for now though, because I usually find ripping up uranium ore stations a pain in the butt because you have to worry about all of the fluid handling that goes with it. So for the meantime, I think this will work for now. I think all we have to do really is just hook up the pipes. So we're going to do, actually we can just do an underground pipe or a couple. This will turn on at least this section here, and then let's add it in. Oh no, I don't have any more pipes. I'll have to do that by hand. But we'll just add it into this line here for the rest of the rows. And we've got a couple more. I may need to add it from the bottom, unfortunately, just because I have the top filled with belts. That's not a big deal. But you can see that the uranium miners are already beginning to work and then get delivered into the train up here. And I am using a 2-4-2 train setup for the uranium ore. In my previous map, I only used a 2-2 train, I believe, so we have a much bigger capacity this time around. But let me finish hooking this up here, and then we're going to go ahead and start smelting the ore. The 4 cargo wagons just filled up with 2,000 uranium ore each, so we're now headed back. We're going to drop off the uranium ore back at the drop-off point over here, and then we're going to connect up the belts into some sort of fashion and use the centrifuges to start smelting the ore. And looks like we just arrived. So I have requested 6 centrifuges for now, just to get us started. And it's been a while since I've played with the Covarex enrichment process, and I'm not looking to do this to gain the fuel cells for now, but mostly just to get the uranium-238. But the Covarex enrichment process will come in handy eventually, because I do imagine we're going to have to use nuclear fuel, and of course we need the uranium-235 for the nukes themselves. So with that said, we do need to figure out a nice configuration for this. One configuration I used in the past is actually this blueprint here, which I think I will start and use this time around as well. What I did was basically line up a lot of these centrifuges, and we have the one line at the left, which is the input of the uranium ore, goes into the centrifuges and comes out as uranium-238 most of the time. In fact, I think that's 99% of the time. The 1% time, it doesn't come out as the 238, but instead it comes out as the 235. It gets placed onto the other side of the belt line, which is why you see kind of the weird underground belt configuration. So I think we'll go ahead and just plop it here. And then I can come up with a different configuration in the future. I just kind of want to get this process going. And we can do a couple of these blueprint versions. We can do another tile just like that. I think we'll stop there for now. And we'll wrap this belt line around. Oh, and get rid of this. We don't need that. Sorry guys, I'm just thinking how I want to do this. I don't think that is evenly distributed though. Oh well, I can play with that later. So this wraps around because we're going to have it take on a full loop. So let's actually duplicate it like so. No, what goes in the middle here? Oh, that's the loop. I was getting a little confused by the orientation here. Let's delete that. Okay, I am getting it now, so let's keep this red just to keep it all the same. So this line is what loops the uranium-235 and the 238 around. And then this line here we can keep as the uranium ore if we want, which I think we will. And we can do an underground belt like that. Let's fix the belt line there, and then we're going to have it loop back around kind of in a full circle here. That way it gets recycled. Okay, so I don't imagine we're going to run out of uranium ore anytime soon because we've got 3 full cargo wagons worth that still need to be unloaded. But you can already see the uranium-238 is working, it's getting produced. And then what we can do is a splitter off maybe, where do I want it? Because I think I want the actual Covarex enrichment process to be on the corners here. So what we will do instead, let's hook it up like that. Let's do a splitter off like that. And we're gonna filter it out so only the 238 comes out for now. There we go. And I think I want to use blue tech for now. Oh, you guys, look at this. We have our first uranium-235. I didn't think we were going to get it on camera. That is awesome. Okay, we've definitely got uranium-235 coming in as well. I'm going to let that just continue to build up. Again, for those of you unfamiliar with how the Covarex enrichment process works, you need 40 of the uranium-235 to really start the Covarex enrichment process. So we have to wait the very long time for the uranium-235 to build up. But we've got our first one, so we're well on our way. And I think, this isn't going to work. What? I really wish for the splitter that there was a way to only have this come off, but also continue the product around that way as well, instead of one or the other. What we can do instead is just label this the uranium-235, but put it on the other side. No? Dang, that's still not working. Oh, there's a second one, you guys. Sorry, I'm getting so excited. Let's do something instead. Let's continue this on. And I can fix this later. Let's at least connect it out to the main bus. And we're going to have the uranium-238 get onto this belt line here that I'm hovered over. So we've still got a little bit of a ways to go. And let's use underground belt for this part. Oh, wrong way. Like that. And then that. And then from here on, I'll have to change the orientation of the belts, but that's not a big deal. And then let's lastly finish hooking it up here. And then we'll start seeing it get dispersed onto the main bus line. That is awesome. So I'll worry about how I divvy up the loop that we have going on over here. And probably do that off camera just because I'm going to have to think about how I want this orientation set up. But I think what I want to do is finish this belt line here. We're going to fix it so it goes the correct way. And then make sure it gets to where it needs to go for actual use in ammo production. And just a little bit more. We'll have to change up this belt orientation, it looks like. But the uranium-238 should be coming in through here to make the ammo that we need. And it's already got the piercing rounds, it just needs the actual uranium-238 itself. And oh, I'm glad I was paying attention whether it was making it or not, because it got stuck right there. And we've only got a little amount for now. Of course, I've got to go back and fix the circle setup that we have. But it's making our way down here, and it's finally going to start producing the uranium ammo. This is awesome, guys. I would say mission accomplished for today. So with that said, we're going to go ahead and wrap up today's episode. Thanks so much for joining me for episode 22, and I hope you'll stick around for episode 23 with me.